Everything you know about prompt engineering is wrong. OpenAI tested this internally and the results are going to hurt a little. It turns out longer structured prompts actually perform worse compared to the shorter prompts for the latest GPT 5.6 models. I do a lot of corporate trainings and workshops and I see every employee write a very long prompt because that's what they've learned in the past 4 years. But the problem is those prompts don't work anymore. That is the unlearning that you need to do. Hi everyone, I'm Ishan Sharma and OpenAI just published a new prompting guideline for how to use GPT 5.6. Now most of you will never find this guide because it is buried under hundreds of pages on their developer docs, but I am going to break it down for you step by step. There are 7 rules that you need to follow if you want to get the best result from the most powerful models out there from OpenAI, GPT 5.6, Sol, Terra and Luna. And then I'll show you what the top engineers in the world are doing instead of prompting, something called a loop. And we'll see how you can build your first loop today, even if you know nothing about coding. Let's get started with this video. First of all, let me give you a brief about the latest GPT 5.6 models. These are the most powerful models in the world right now. OpenAI unveiled GPT 5.6 and it is the most powerful yet cost-effective model out there. Means you get the most intelligent output while being cost-effective and faster than any model out there. And that is insane. It can write code and create brilliant front ends for you. You can use it for reasoning tasks and helping you research and document and script articles and so much more. And under GPT 5.6 are 3 models: Sol, Terra and Luna. Sol is the most powerful model out there, reserved for the highest thinking and reasoning ability tasks. Terra is for the things you do every other day, and Luna is the most fastest and cheapest model out there. Hence, Luna is built for high volume work that you have to do every single day. You can access GPT 5.6 in the ChatGPT website, the app, and also their new ChatGPT work app that you can download on both Mac and Windows and start creating websites, creating files locally on your setup. Now that you understand GPT 5.6, let's understand the 7-rule framework for writing the best prompts with ChatGPT. The first step is to write shorter prompts. Delete, don't add. OpenAI found out that with GPT 5.6, less instructions gave better outputs. So you get 15% better outputs while using 60% lesser tokens by writing shorter and concise prompts. So you don't need to over-explain anything. Instead of thinking, what more can I add? It is all about what can I delete, so that GPT 5.6 can use its own intelligence to bridge the gap and understand how to execute. Now, one thing I've realized after building a content business is that AI doesn't automatically make teams more productive. In fact, everyone's using different AI tools and it can actually create more chaos. My team uses AI throughout the day. Someone's researching, someone's writing, someone's designing thumbnails, and someone is planning the next video. But when everyone is working with different contexts, you actually spend more time syncing information than actually creating. We use flows to bring our ideas, discussions, and AI into one shared workspace. So everyone is working from the same context instead of jumping between different tools. What I find even more interesting is Miro MCP. Most AI tools only understand the prompt you type. They don't know the context behind your team's work. With MCP, we can connect AI tools like Claude or ChatGPT directly into our Miro workspace. So they understand our planning, discussions, and decisions instead of starting from a blank prompt every time. That means we don't have to keep explaining the same project to AI over and over again. It already has the context, which leads to better outputs and the whole team can move faster together. For me, that is the biggest shift. AI isn't just about making one person faster anymore. It's about helping your entire team to think, collaborate, and execute from the same context. If you're also creating content, building products, or working with a team, I'd highly suggest you to check out Miro with the link in the description of this video. The second rule is to lead with the outcome and not the steps. Stop telling the model how to do the job. Tell it what done looks like. What does success look like for me? GPT 5.6 is intelligent enough to plan out its own route to understand how to reach this end goal. Let's have a look at 2 different prompts. The first one says, first search for flight options from Bengaluru to Bali, then make a list of hotels, then check vegetarian options, then create a day-by-day itinerary, then estimate the budget, then give me tips. You see, I'm asking it to do everything step by step. While in the old world, this might be a great prompt because I'm telling exactly what to do and how to do it. But the new way to prompt is this. Plan a 5-day Bali trip for 2 vegetarians from Bengaluru. Total budget is 80,000 rupees. Done means a day-wise itinerary, 2 stay options with prices, and a 1-line budget breakdown at the top. And look at that, same information, but the second one is half the words, and I get the output as I actually wanted it to. So there's one thing you can take away from this entire video is to start showing what the output looks like that you want instead of describing the steps. All right, moving on to the third rule, and that is to reserve absolute words like always and never. Only use it for safety rules and required fields. And for anything else, give the model a decision rule, a condition that tells it exactly when to act and how to. Always ask me before replying to any email is what the old world looked like. The new way to do it is this. Draft and send replies directly for scheduling and routine questions. Check with me only when the email involves money, a deadline change, or a commitment I haven't already made. Now notice, the first version will annoy you with 50 different notifications. Every time you get a new email, it will stop and ask you for it. The next one only prompts you when there's something real at stake. The fourth rule is to delete be concise. It will already be. Now this is my favorite because it's all about deleting that one word, because GPT 5.6 is built to be more concise and to not fluff around or to just create a lot of text and lines for you to read. And if you intentionally say keep the answer too brief or too short, you might actually be butchering the response that you get by shortening it even more. Sometimes it starts cutting things that you actually needed and valued. Instead of saying be shorter, say lead with conclusion. Similarly, words like be friendly or be empathetic no longer work. Instead of saying be friendly, you need to just say be direct and tactful and skip the reassurance. The fifth rule is to define what it can do without asking you. Now this rule matters more and more every single year as AI gets more agentic. Look, GPT 5.6 is a very proactive model, and if you don't define its autonomy boundaries, one of the two things will happen. Either it will pause to ask permission from you every 30 seconds, or it assumes everything and goes further than you wanted it to. So create two lists, what it can do freely and what needs your confirmation. Now one thing OpenAI pointed is to don't mention ask me first 5 times in your prompt. Repetition actually triggers unnecessary permission checks even for safe actions. Let me show you an example of how to define autonomy. So the prompt is research the best AI note-taking apps for students. You can browse, compare and eliminate options without asking me. Confirm with me before recommending anything above 500 rupees per month. Done means a comparison table plus one clear pick with a 2-line reason. You see, I've described exactly what it can do on its own and what it needs to ask me before executing. So it will do all the tasks silently and will only ask me for one particular decision. The rule number 6 is to set reasoning effort deliberately. What I mean by that is GPT 5.6 comes with 6 effort levels. Everything from none to low, medium, high, X high, and the new max effort level. The playbook is low for fast and simple stuff, medium as your default that covers most other work. High and X high is only when you want to see an actual reasoning difference in the task that you wanted to do. And max is a last resort for genuinely extremely hard problems, but it should never be your default. See, for most days, Terra on medium will do all of your tasks very effectively. And the last rule is the official prompt structure. So OpenAI has created an exact structure which has the following segments. The first one is role, then personality, goal, success criteria, constraints, tools, outputs, and stop rules. This is how you would be structuring a prompt. Doesn't mean that you will require all of them at every use case, but let me show you an example of replying to an angry customer. So this is the prompt you would enter into GPT 5.6 and let's look at how it is structured. So it starts with role. You handle customer complaints for my small online store. Personality, direct and tactful. Acknowledge friction specifically. No canned reassurance, no fake cheerfulness. Goal, turn this angry customer into a retained customer. Success criteria is the reply, apologize once, offers one concrete fix, and gives them a reason to order again. Constraints, no refunds above 2,000 rupees without flagging me. Never promise delivery dates we cannot control. Output, the email, under 150 words, plus a 1-line summary of the fix. Stop rule, if the customer threatens legal action, stop and escalate to me instead of replying. Here is the complaint, and then you will paste the customer email. Now notice I did not say be empathetic, I said acknowledge friction upfront. So that's the prompting playbook that OpenAI has just created. You have to set the outcome, you have to set the boundaries, and then you have to get out of the way and let 5.6 Soul do its job. But now let me give you a new twist to this video, and this is where it gets a lot more interesting. The top engineers in the world today are not writing prompts. What you just saw was great and impressive, but the people who are getting the most value out of AI are not prompt engineering. They are loop engineering. They are creating loops, but not prompts. And let me tell you the difference. So a prompt is one instruction, but a loop is a goal that the AI keeps executing until it reaches success. So the AI plans, executes, verifies its own result against the standard, feeds that result back in, and goes all over again. So the 5 stages of any loop is discover, plan, execute, verify, and iterate. Determine whether your loop is real or fake. The first one is the verifier. This is the heart of a loop which keeps the AI running on its own, agentic. It's a task, it's a checklist, it's a rule that it has to pass through, and if it does not, it keeps executing over and over. The second is the state. It's like a running record of what was tried and what failed. It could be a doc, a sheet, or even a simple note. That is what lets the next run continue instead of starting from zero. So it reads all the things that have already happened and then creates a new idea, a new path to execute, to reach and be verified for the rule. And the last one is a stopping condition. Every real loop has 2 exits. Either the goal is met or a hard cap kicks in. Maximum 3 attempts or 30 minutes, whatever kicks in first. But if you can skip this, you have a machine that works all night producing things for you till the morning when you wake up. So a loop that truly works has 3 very important things: a verifier, a checklist of what needs to be done and what success looks like, the state of what has been done previously so that it can continue from there, and lastly, it needs to have a stopping condition so that it keeps running and executing on its own without hitting a hard wall. Now every loop has 5 building blocks. The first one is the automation. It's like a scheduled trigger, something that starts the loop. It can be as simple as just putting a time that every Sunday 9 a.m. it should start working. Or it can also be a simple trigger. Let's say there is a new email that reached your inbox, but that is the automation bit of it. The second block is a skill, the context that it reads. So AI is not starting from scratch. It is learning and reading from the context you have already given. So your brand rules, your guidelines, your do's and don'ts, your FAQs. This is what enables the loop to start compounding instead of starting from scratch. The third block is sub-agents. The maker and the checker are never the same brain. The AI that wrote the draft is far too generous to grade its own work. So you create one that writes and is fast, and you write another agent that then checks the work that it has done. It is slow and it is strict. The fourth block is connectors. The loop doesn't just suggest, it actually acts. And connectors are like the limbs of a loop. So it has a power to update a sheet. It has a power to send an email. That's the difference between a PDF or an idea or a step-by-step guide versus waking up with finished work. And the last block is the verifier. That is the objective gate that completes the loop altogether. The verifier decides whether the loop makes you money or just lets you spend it. One more thing to understand is that not everything needs a loop. If you're just asking a simple question or just trying to create a simple file, you can just use the prompt structure that I've given you before. But if you want something that is extensive, you want it to do some deep research, come up with new tasks, and then execute on behalf of you, you want to create agents and want to use GPT 5.6 for that, well, in that case, you need to do loop engineering. And let me show you an example of what a real loop looks like, and let's build it right inside of the new ChatGPT work app using the latest GPT 5.6 Soul model. So I am here on the ChatGPT app, and this is my prompt. Goal: a 500-word newsletter issue on how AI is changing travel planning for a general audience. Process: run this as a loop. So notice what I'm doing. Draft the issue, then switch roles. You are now a strict editor with no memory of writing the draft. Store it against this gate: pass fail per item. A, under 500 words. B, opens with a specific story or example, not a definition. C, exactly one call to action. And D, 0 filler phrases like in today's fast-paced world. And E, a reader that can act on at least one tip within the next 10 minutes. This is the verifier and it's the most important part. The third point, if any item fails, rewrite and rescore. Stop rules, stop when all 5 checks pass or after 3 rounds, whichever comes first. Show me every scoreboard, then the final draft. So you notice this is an entire loop that I've created. So it keeps executing until all of my 5 requirements are met. And notice what's happening on the screen. The first round failed a couple of checks. So it went on the next round. It went on the next third loop and it kept executing until it got all of my 5 checks verified. And then this is what I got. And just look at this output. Now, just for you, in the description of this video is an extensive PDF I've made with a ton of different loop examples for everything from creating your job application resume to helping you create that first startup to coming up with new YouTube video ideas to helping you start freelancing. I've made multiple examples. Go watch it and I hope that it helps. Also check out the link in the description for Miro Flows and their new MCP, which lets you mood board, visualize anything that you want to create, collaborate with different people, pull them all together in one board and start creating real impact. The description will have the link. Thank you so much for watching this video. This was all about the new prompting guidelines by OpenAI, and we also understood about how loop engineering works and how you can start building your first loop from today. If you have any doubts, let me know below in the comments of this video. Also write, I watched till the end. If you're still watching, thank you so much. Your support means the world to me, and I will see you all in the next video.